In a world where seeing in the dark can be the ultimate advantage, there's one company that has quietly become a massive player. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on Theon International and really see what makes them tick in the high-stakes world of defense technology. Okay, before we get started, just the usual disclaimer, everything you're about to hear is for informational purposes only. It's definitely not investment advice.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the big picture, the world situation. Then we'll zoom into Theon's incredible rise. We're going to look inside their business model, check out their future-facing tech, and then see just how big the market opportunity really is. And finally, we'll wrap it all up. All right, first things first. To really get a handle on a company like Theon, you got to understand the world they live in. And right now, it's a world that is desperate for the ability to, well, see in the dark. Look, 2024 has been intense. We've seen conflicts flare up and escalate all over the globe, and that's completely changed the game for defense priorities. Countries everywhere are hitting the accelerator on modernizing their militaries. And if you want to see what that looks like in black and white, check this out. Back in 2021, just 6 NATO countries were hitting that 2% defense spending target. Fast forward to 2024, that number has jumped to 23. I mean, that is not a small bump. It's a seismic shift, pouring hundreds of billions of new dollars into defense. So all that new spending created this massive vacuum, right? A huge opportunity for any company that could deliver the goods. And stepping right into that gap, the Theon International. So who are they? Well, Theon is a top dog in night vision and thermal imaging. And when I say top dog, I mean it. They have more than 200,000 of their systems out there in the field. They're in 71 countries, and they work with 26 NATO members. That's a huge global footprint. Their story is really a masterclass in how to grow. They started out in Greece way back in '97, just building their reputation at home. But then, in 2010, bam, they win this huge contract with the Swedish Army. That was the game changer. It put them on the world stage. Then came a big one with the U.S. Marine Corps in 2019, followed by the biggest European tender for night vision goggles ever in 2022. And listing on the Euronext Amsterdam in 2024, that was them planting the flag, saying, "We've arrived." And this chart right here really shows you the payoff. Europe is still their bread and butter, no surprise there, making up 82% of their revenue. But look at this, they're not a one-trick pony. They've pushed into the Americas and other parts of the world, building a really solid, diversified business. Okay, so the big question is, how'd they pull this off? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine room, the business model that's driving all this growth. Their secret sauce is something called vertical integration. Basically, they control everything, from the first sketch on a napkin to designing, building, testing, and even supporting the gear years later. Having that total control is absolutely key. It means they can guarantee quality, innovate super fast, and build that rock-solid trust with their customers. And this model gives them some serious advantages. They're big enough to be the leader in Europe, holding more than half the market share, but they're still nimble and quick. They've got the tech smarts to build exactly what a customer needs, which creates these amazing long-term relationships. And you know what that means? Repeat business. But here's the thing about defense tech. If you stand still, you get left behind. So the real test is, what's Theon doing now to make sure they stay on top tomorrow? It's the million-dollar question for any company at the top, right? How do you stay ahead of the curve when tech is moving at lightning speed? For Theon, it really comes down to 2 things. First up, they're innovating like crazy with their products. They're building something called the ARMED ecosystem. Think of it like this. It's not just about seeing in the dark anymore. This is next-level stuff. Imagine a soldier seeing a fusion of night vision and thermal imaging at the same time, with vital info, like enemy positions or a map, projected right into their field of view. We're talking about turning basic sight into total situational awareness. The second piece is just a brilliant strategic move. They bought a company called Harder Digital. Now, these guys make the image intensifier tubes that's literally the heart of a night vision device. Before, Theon had to buy these from someone else, which is a huge dependency. By buying them, they didn't just secure their supply chain, they brought critical R&D in-house. It was a genius move that turned a major vulnerability into a massive strength. So you've got this really smart internal strategy, and it just so happens to be perfectly timed for a market that is about to explode. Let's take a look at just how big this opportunity is. And wow, the numbers here are pretty staggering. The market they play in,
defense optronics, is projected to leap from $3.2 billion this year to $4.6 billion by 2027. That's not just steady growth, folks. That's a rocket ship fueled by this global mission to give every single soldier next-gen vision.
Want to boil it down to one number? 13%. That's the projected annual growth rate. Now, to give you some context, that's more than twice the growth of the entire defense industry. So this little niche they're in, it's one of the hottest, fastest growing parts of the whole sector.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways here? What does all this tell us about Theon and really the future of what it means to sea on the battlefield?
You know, this quote from their chair, Kalinda Grabar-Katarovich, really nails it. She talks about careful planning, methodical production, skilled people, and innovative products. And that's exactly what we've seen, right? Their success is no accident. It's built on these 4 pillars.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating thought to chew on. At the end of the day, Theon isn't just selling equipment. They're on the bleeding edge of a revolution, one that's literally fusing what we can see with our own eyes with the power of digital data. So the question isn't just can we see in the dark anymore? The question is, what will the soldier of the future see? And that could change absolutely everything.
All right, that's our look behind the curtain. And one last time, just a reminder, this was all for informational purposes. It is not investment advice.